The magic of the microphone. 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 Happy New Year, 2018. The first of my microphone reviews is going to be the Earthworks SR40V. Comes in this box, which you open up, 2 clips. And inside we have various bits of paper. We've got kind of a manual. There's more stuff online pertaining to the phantom power requirements and so on. And this is its frequency response chart. Each one comes with an individual one for the particular microphone. Here is the item itself. So in a padded box, cut out and with a microphone clip. It's a K&M microphone clip. More on this, the accessories, later. First of all, the manufacturer's specification. They say this goes from 30 Hertz to 40 kilohertz. That's extremely wide. It's a hypercardioid polar pattern, which means it picks up mostly from there, not much from the sides, maybe leaks a bit from here. That's the design of hypercardioid. What else do they say? They say it's a high definition microphone, meaning that it's very fast. It's got a small diaphragm, very fast to respond to changes in notes, starting and stopping between frequencies and so on. They claim it's the best in the world for that. Fit, finish, and feel. Seemingly well made. They do say it can't be dismantled, though this top did come a little bit loose and I could tell it was on a screw thread. But seeing as they say it can't be dismantled, I wasn't courageous enough to have a peek, so I just tightened it back up again and left it. Well made as far as I can see. Feel is kind of grippy. Unlikely to drop it. Quite weighty. Well finished in a fairly, I would say almost a sort of scientific instrument sort of way. I wouldn't call it beautiful. Quite masculine, I feel. No complaints. Here it is compared to USA SM58. So you can see it's slightly larger, slightly longer. Heavier, I would say. Going to zoom in, use my focus helper, so you can hopefully get a look. And we all know we're going to need some light here, so let me do that. I'm hoping you'll be able to see. Fairly a coarse grid, so it's going to be quite strong. I wonder sometimes about these, whether they have some issues with the airflow. We'll mention that later. Not all that much to see, really. Again, close up, hopefully it's focused. SM58, Earthworks SR40V. Okay, I'm going to plug her in and we shall see. I'm making sure that this channel is muted. With all of these condenser mics which use phantom power, if you have the channel live when you plug them in, you're asking for trouble. There might be some pops and bangs. Something about this one as well, which I know, I've used it for a while myself, and I've used it with students, excuse me, and other singers. It's got a very high output, much higher than any of the other mics. So if you leave the channel on, when you're not only going to get pops and bangs, you're going to get howling feedback. So watch out for that. Having done that, I've set this up before. Let's just see, where are we? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of the room mic here. and now I'm just on the Earthworks SR40V. Okay, what are my immediate impressions just having plugged it in and switched it on? Just talking through it, I notice that it's quite finely resolved up there, quite high. I notice that there isn't any coarseness and there isn't any sweetness to my ears on my voice. In the middle range, I notice round about there's a certain firmness that helps cut with my voice anyway. I notice that I bring it closer, closer, closer. I notice the proximity starting to kick in round about here. Bring it closer still. You have to be a little bit careful now. Bring it closer still. Bring it closer. You can hear it's getting warmer. If I go down there, it's got a lot of low-end drive. That's what I notice immediately, just switching it on. But let's look at a few things. Frequency. I've looked at the graph. It says it's from 30 to 40 kilohertz. I have no reason to dispute that. Certainly the low end, certainly the top end is as extended as my ears can hear. There's an argument for going beyond 20 kilohertz, by the way, which is the supposed limit of young human hearing. The argument is that the frequencies beyond that interact with the frequencies which are in the human hearing range and therefore affect the sound. If you don't go beyond 20 kilohertz, you don't get that relationship, that interference, if you like, and it affects the sound somewhat. That's the argument. So frequency, rejection, let's see. Supercardioid, hypercardioid, that's on axis. If I come round the side here, you can hear it starting to dull a bit. If we come round here, try not to change my voice, sorry. If I come round here, you start to hear there's some rejection. Pretty much there is full on at the side, as you'd expect with hypercardioid. If I come round to the back there, you can hear that there is some leakage. Come back round here, a bit more rejection. Come round here, you can start to come back on axis, and it's reasonably wide spot, it sounds to me. So yes, some leakage there. I think the leakage that is there, that's the nature of hypercardioids, is a good frequency. It's low, it's quite muddy, and not likely to cause feedback. So it seems to be pretty much a textbook kind of hypercardioid pattern. Rejection, handling. If you've got headphones, you can hear the low frequencies. There's some thumping, but it's probably the best controlled handling noise of any of the mics I've used. So that's really very good, particularly for a mic that goes this low. S's, I'm not particularly sibilant, I don't think. Just seems very neutral and natural to me. No emphasis on S's from that I can hear. P's, you have to be careful with P's, particularly with mics which have an extended frequency response. So if I put it right there, you can hear, you might not be able to hear it without headphones, but with headphones you'll hear that thumping going on. As you know from my microphone technique video, you can do this, you can put it there if you like, but I find most effective is to have it to one side here, so that the sound waves, beg your pardon, come out semicircular. The sound waves get into the mic, but the main blast of the breath doesn't, so it reduces that. And also don't be clumsy. So with the P's, I would say no worse than most of the other mics I've got. Not sure if it's any better, but I don't think it's any worse. But it certainly goes lower than they do. So that's always going to be an issue with a mic that has a full frequency response. Handling noise, S's, P's. Breath. So by breath I mean sometimes if you're doing an ooh, and if you keep your lips quite closed on that ooh, you get airflow. So if I'm ooh, ooh, can you hear that? There, watching the meters again. Ooh, even higher up because there's the airflow. Ooh, 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 ooh. One thing you can do then is not have such a small aperture. Ooh. As I make the aperture smaller, obviously the air comes through. So the breath noise, I think there are some mics which might be a little bit better. Here's my suspicion. I have noticed that mics that do have this tougher grill, I'm not sure if it disturbs the airflow. The Beyerdynamics that have the very fine grill, the vintage Beyerdynamics have a very fine grill. Of course, it's not so tough if you drop them. But I do have a suspicion that the finer grill and no foam. I think this has foam as a pop shield. I'm not sure, because wasn't brave enough to take the top off, because they said don't. It has got a 15-year guarantee, but they might have noticed I'd taken it off and voided it. So I don't know. There's a little bit of I do have to be a little bit careful when I'm close with a kind of really more that than the pop, though they're kind of related. I think I have one or two mics which are better in that respect. I've got perceived clarity. Perceived clarity is absolutely excellent. No doubt about that. Sensitivity. When I mean sensitivity, I don't mean how much signal it puts through. It puts through masses. As I said earlier, be careful with that. I mean this kind of sensitivity. Like a lot of dynamic mics, the SM58 would probably have hardly pick up anything. So this is, I find if I'm there and I'm being a bit louder, I can still hear, of course you can hear the room. And if I bring it closer, if I bring it there, I can notice that there's a difference. If I bring it closer, still bring it closer, there I can notice. It's not stages, but obviously it's a linear. It's not even linear. Smooth. It's not in increments. Obviously it's continuous, but that's what I pick up as I'm going. Getting closer still, I can hear things there. Now it's starting to sound to me a little bit intimate. It's picking up. And if I get closer still, I'm going to be a bit quieter, because otherwise we'll overload the meters. Getting closer still, there I can hear some proximity coming in. Can you? Roundabout in that place there, that place, if I bring it in closer, I'm still getting that, still getting that, still getting that. There is another. Still getting that, still getting that, still getting that. Very smooth, very controllable, long range, which is what I like. I like to be able to do the thing there. It doesn't just die on me. I can't hear anything. So I've got all that space to work the paintbrush, depending on what I'm doing as well. So fantastic for that. A lot of condenser mics are like that. That's why you've got to be a little bit careful on loud stages and all the rest of it. Proximity response, I don't think we need to say anything about that. I don't find it overblown. What I like about it is it keeps the clarity, because it keeps the top part as well, so well delineated, so well revealed, that I can use it really close and still have clarity. So if I bring it in here, as you know, if we're down there, as you know, if we're down there, I can still hear what I'm saying. Some other mics, like my other favourite is a Bayer M88, which goes low. It does have a little bit of bloom, bass bloom, so we tend to get, I would change if I'm down there, different things if I lose it. Whereas this one, you can hear there. Sorry about the breath. So it's so even and flat. It means it can use that proximity effect. So probably the best proximity effect I've come across. Yeah. No mascara. No mascara. What do I mean? I had a student at the Brit School. We tried this microphone, and she was a little bit not sure. She had been using the Neumann KMS 105, and she said it's a little bit truthful. So I said to her, here's an analogy. I said, do you wear makeup? She said no. She was 14, 15. And then she said, well, sometimes I put some mascara on. And I said, so when you put your mascara on, and you look in the mirror, presumably you put it on for a reason, you look in the mirror, what do you think? And she said, well, it just seems to lift things a little bit. So the Neumann KMS 105, I would say, has a little bit of mascara, if you like that. It just, at the top end there, it's quite brightly lit, and it just sort of, it's sweet, it's nice. This one, no mascara. So it's exactly as it is, in my experience. Depends on what you want. I like it exactly as it is. If your voice suits a bit of mascara, don't know if you could add it. You might be able to use a processor to add it, but maybe go for a different mic. But if you want, as is, this one. All right, to sum up before Mr. Manuel does a singing sample with the mic. Well made. Extended frequency response, 15-year guarantee. Any improvements? I would be interested to see what a finer mesh or all mesh winch pop shield grill does for the sound. I'd be interested to hear that because of the slight air thing that goes on there. Couple of things about the accessories, if I may. I'm going to go back on the Rode mic now, just so I don't have to keep holding this. So a couple of things about the so I go on back on that one. You see your ears get very used very quickly, don't they? This sounds a little bit muddy. It's got the top end there, but there's something around there. But there you get used to things. Anyway, I am actually going to do a video on clips. Clips. This is the clips, if it'll focus, that came with it. I recognised it as a K&M clip. Konigan Meyer, I think that is. And it's got the Earthworks logo inserted in plastic. Well, it's not doing it now. It did make a sort of plasticky creaking noise because they're stuck on, and I've restuck them. So more important than that, that's just a cosmetic thing. You might take those off anyway if you want. Is that the microphone cable, if you get this one, it just grabs a little. It's okay. The thicker one I've got won't fit through the gap. So you have to use, if this is on the stand, you have to use two hands when you take the mic off. So let's put that in there. So that's fine. It holds it well, works. If you've got a thicker mic cable, you do find that it won't come out so easily. I suppose you could cut there. Okay, it ships with this. I'm sure it's extremely solid and, you know, gets dropped. I'm sure it's going to protect the mic. But it looks like it costs a fair bit. And once you've got it, who's going to use it? Sorry about that. I'm not going to go with just my mic in there on a gig with this. So what have I got to... I put it somewhere. Put it in the cupboard and leave it. What I end up using then is a pencil case. It's a padded one. It's quite foamy. And I've inserted some extra foam there. I've got these tags on them because I've got lots of mics, and well, no, I know this one because it's red, but I keep so I can see what it is without undoing it. So with a pencil case, the mic fits thus. And with that extra, with the extra padding in there, you have to be unlucky. You have to drop it from it. It's really quite padded. And it has the advantage that actually it can fit in a pocket. With a coat, if you've got a fairly large pocket, I can just put it in. I wouldn't throw a mic like this around anyway, but it can just fit in a bag with other things, and I don't think if things rub against it, it's not going to be a problem. So what I would quite like, it's a suggestion perhaps, is maybe, I don't know, do if they did some research and find out who really uses this. I'm sure it could be shipped in a cardboard box with foam. It would be just as secure. It'd be insured anyway, but I'm sure you could make it really secure, foam and stout cardboard. And then maybe include, I would like Italian leather. I would like Italian leather. Maybe a leather one with a fold-over magnetic closure. Maybe with a zip under that as well. I don't know. But I'm just thinking nice Italian leather, nice Earthworks stamp on it. Something that's going to mature wonderfully, get a nice patina for a mic of this price. My conclusion then, I think it's by some margin the best microphone that I've used. And that includes the three Neumanns, KMS 105, 104, 104 Plus, some Sennheisers, all the condenser mics. Not all, a lot. I'll put a list of the ones I've got. By some margin, I think this one is the best. The frequency response is superb. The speed of it is superb. The build, I like it. I like the shape of it and so on. That's a personal matter, isn't it? 15-year guarantee, hellish expensive.
Maybe you're poor, maybe you have wealth, maybe in demand or maybe on the shelf. Whatever your situation, there's one thing you should do. Reject all automation. Let me work on you, Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you. Hey, call me Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. Hey, call me Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. Oh, I like to manually manipulate you. Guaranteed to make you smile. I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. I like to manually manipulate you. Guaranteed to make you smile. La Bestia.